Oh, back we come. All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Simulation. We are going to be talking about our thoughts on the Georgia Guidestones. So you might be wondering, what the fuck are the Georgia Guidestones? Well, I'll tell you this. They're actually a pretty important thought. They're a pretty important landmark. And they really stimulate some interesting thoughts. So let's take a dive into the Wikipedia article on Georgia Guidestones together. So the first thing that when we look at it, we see a granite monument erected in 1980 in Georgia in the US. So there's a set of 10 guidelines inscribed on it in 8 modern languages. Okay, so we're talking about 19 feet 3 inches tall. So this is kind of what it looks like right here. So these massive 19-foot slabs have these 10, in Georgia, have these 10 rules inscribed on them. And so Georgia's right here, you know, on the map, and there's right there in the US. And so, all right, now what the hell are these 10 things, and like what was the purpose of writing them? So here are the inscriptions. They're written in English, Spanish, Swahili, Sanskrit, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. And I'm going to break these down for you. I'm going to tell you kind of what I think about each one of them as we go. Okay, so maintaining humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Okay, why is that there? Well, okay, we have 7.5 billion people right now, and that's quite a bit of people. And maybe it's easier for us to perpetually be with nature at about 500 million. Now, the question is, we're not going to go and start murdering people, but the idea is actually over time population will likely decline. More and more advancements will be made. 2 parents, mom and dad, will probably only have 1 kid each, 1 kid together. So from 2 people down to 1. So the replacement fertility rate isn't going to keep up. You're not going to have 2 kids with 2 parents. It's just going to be 1 parent, 2 parents, 1 kid. So eventually population has been declining in these developed areas of the world. The only areas of the world where it's not declining are places like Africa, where in many cases the population is still increasing because it's still developing. People are still having about 6 kids or so. So actually over time it might organically happen that our population declines to about there. Now, it's not that difficult to actually get there over time either. There's other ways to get there as well. The idea of, oh, well, why don't we only let the smartest of us breed? How do we measure the smartest of us? Maybe that would be a good idea. That actually leads us right into the second point, which is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Okay, hypothetically, if you guided reproduction wisely, what if I didn't get to reproduce because I wasn't smart enough? Okay, great. Maybe it's better for civilization that only the smartest, however we measure that, reproduce. Maybe me, maybe you, and 8 other people, 7 other people, including you and I, don't get to reproduce, but then the 10th person gets to reproduce because they're smarter than us across some sort of measurement scale. And that's guiding reproduction wisely. Maybe it's for physical traits. Maybe it's for people that are very physically attractive. Maybe it's for people that are very physically strong, that have a strong metabolism, a strong working memory. What are these ways that we can improve fitness and diversity, meanwhile also potentially keeping a perpetual balance with nature and maintaining humanity under a certain population threshold? Because we do sway out of perpetual balance with nature when we have so many people, and when those so many people are doing things like consuming so damn much, burning so many fossil fuels, all these things, and we are contributing to that as well. So maybe this is important to talk about. Third point, unite humanity with a living new language. Okay, I just also want to make sure that we're looking at who did this. So this is 1979, someone named Robert C. Christian. He did this on behalf of a small, loyal group of Americans, and they commissioned the structure, accepted the quote, and they did it. And then, you know, they've been defaced over time and stuff. And some people call it one of the most brilliant things. Some people call it one of the most hated things. So it's very interesting, the difference between them. But it's also interesting that somebody paid to commission this into our world. Okay, the next point, unite humanity with a living new language. We talk about this all the time, like what the hell is this right now? I'm vibrating vocal cords, you're listening, somehow it's making sense in your brain. We're lucky we made language, but what's better than language? Will we even be using our vocal cords anymore? Am I just going to think and telepathically communicate to you? What are these brain-computer interfaces going to look like? But Also, maybe we don't even need to think. Maybe there's just a feeling of some sort that for communication. What is this new living language? How can we make it so all 7.5 billion people can communicate effectively with each other? Right now there's those really great translation devices where I can speak in English on one side and on the other side it'll come out in Mandarin. It's so interesting in real time. So we're already, a lot of people are studying language and stuff. I keep telling people don't study language. I think language is really important to expand your mind to new dimensions of thinking and to increase gray matter, all these cool things that people think are, really happening and that are really important. And I think they are too, making people more intelligent. But at the same time, we're going away from the need to know so many different languages with these instantaneous translation devices. So what is a new language? Rule 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, all things with tempered reason. Seems to be something that keeps some of the tradition from humanity, have some faith in where humanism is going, rule with passion and all these things with tempered reason. Seems pretty good. Rule 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. This is tough because we need to know what a fair law is and what a just court is, but in general, those are good concepts, right? So a fair law, maybe something like thou shalt not kill, like don't kill people. Okay, great, nobody will kill you, I won't kill people, okay, good. But if somebody does kill, then they go to court, they get in prison, maybe there's rehabilitation, whatever it may be. Okay, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Okay, so all these nations will rule internally, and then anything that happens as an external dispute will happen in a world court. Again, seems like a pretty good rule that if the U.S. has an issue domestically, that we'll take care of it domestically, and then if something happens between the U.S. and Canada, then we need to bring it to world court where more people are involved in talking about it. How that process will happen is really difficult to know, but these are kind of interesting governing principles. Okay, 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Definitely, there's a shitload of petty laws and useless officials that are all over, and that's why there's this thick, layer of goop that's baked on top of the US government right now, which is the incumbency, all of this money that is corrupt, and so having these useless officials that are, some of them did study poli-sci or law, how many of them studied science or engineering, how many of them studied ethics and philosophy, right? We need more people like this in positions of power as well in our governing system. More women, more people of color, people that represent the United States population, and as well as the world population in that sense as well. And petty laws, yeah, let's get rid of like jaywalking and tickets for parking meters and things like that. Let's figure out how to advance past the silly things like that with these petty laws. Okay, all the crazy, have you ever seen a San Francisco street sign? No parking 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. On Tuesday and Wednesday, there's street cleaning from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Don't park your car there then. Also, no parking your car upside down or left side right or up down the hill. Like, there's too many stupid petty regulations that are going on. We got to figure out how to become better at that. Okay, balance personal rights with social duties. This is crucial. You got to take on some damn responsibility in your life. Jordan Peterson talks about this all the time. Get some damn responsibility on your shoulders and go forth and bring it to the world. So people typically scream, I want my rights, I want my rights, I want my rights. Okay, great, but you have to have some sort of a social duty. You have to have a responsibility as well in order to get these rights. So you're not just born into the world and you're automatically given everything you've ever imagined at will. Well, maybe you should also have a mentality of I want to bring something of value to the world and receive these rights at the same time. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Interesting. What does seeking harmony with the infinite mean? Does that mean the infinity of my divinity of my being, the infinity of the universe and the universes of the cosmic perspective? What is this divinity and this infinity that we're talking about? Because seeking harmony with it, becoming a pinnacle civilization, is something that I strive for so much, and I find that interesting. Prizing truth, beauty, and love, all very important to me as well. It's very interesting. Okay, 10, be not a cancer on earth. Leave room for nature, leave room for nature. The fact that they had to repeat twice, leave room for nature, is a sign that we're not leaving room for nature right now. Take a look at our metropolises. everybody's moving into metropolises. Not everybody, but a vast amount of people are moving into metropolises. And the metropolises are suffocated. You go out here on Market Street, there's no fucking trees, there's no fucking parks, there's no animals rolling around, there's some pigeons, these rats with wings all over the damn brick paths that are getting human hair caught in their feet, and then they're freaking getting infections and dying right there. And this is like, that's us not leaving room for nature. We didn't build the city with the intention to have these amazing parks and open spaces and greeneries and ecosystems. We're not leaving nature. We're just throwing slabs of concrete everywhere. And it's getting quite annoying thinking about how we're building metropolises. Singapore has done a pretty good job at incorporating arcology, which is blending together ecology with architecture, arcology, into their ecosystem. And then be not a cancer on Earth. Seriously. The Earth will shake us off like a bad case of fleas. That is what Ron Vargas, the producing partner of the show, talks about a lot. And just know that that is very much so the potential case for what could happen. Is if humans don't figure out how to get along and mend with nature, there could be a serious extinction again. And how many times has it happened before? So this is actually pretty interesting. Interestingly enough, the Georgia Guidestones, these 20-foot tall slabs in Georgia that were erected a couple decades ago, that are now standing with these somewhat interestingly wise. I think a lot of these things are wise. Why would we not want to leave room for nature? Why would we not want to prize truth and seek harmony with the infinite? These are very interesting things that I think many people can actually agree on. Now, probably a lot of people disagree with 500 million people. How are we going to get there? All this stuff. But they also wrote it in a bunch of different languages, which is interesting. So this has been our thoughts on the Georgia Guidestones. Most of you probably haven't heard about the Georgia Guidestones. Ron taught me about the Georgia Guidestones. It's really important for you to go and share this with two people. Go share Georgia Guidestones, have them go share it, have more conversations about this, get some more awesome thought-provoking conversation going on around the world about this, and send us a comment below. Let us know your thoughts about the Georgia Guidestones. We'll continue making these awesome Thoughts On videos. Thanks for joining us for Thoughts on the Georgia Guidestones. Much love.